Prospective students. My name is Elizabeth Brown, and I'm part of the Department of Criminal Justice Studies at San Francisco State University. And this is our presentation for our virtual Gator Days now that we're all sheltering in place and unable to invite you all to our campus. So I just want to say a little bit today about our program, a little bit today on terms of kind of who the faculty in our program are, and also a little bit on who our students are, and then give everybody an opportunity for questions. For those of you who are watching this pre-recorded version, we will do introductions of myself. I'm Dr. Elizabeth Brown, but neither Dr. Karina Gallo nor Ryder Cogswell, who were both present at the live session, are with us today. But you can read more about Dr. Gallo on our website, and you'll see her a little bit later on in the video. So I'm the chair of the Department of Criminal Justice Studies here at San Francisco State. I've been here since 2006, and my interests are in the intersections between geography, race, and juvenile justice. My particular interests are in how somebody's neighborhood residence, or where one lives, both facilitates and accelerates one's entry into the juvenile justice system. In particular, I'm also interested in the way in which criminal justice agencies actually respond to youth differently based on their neighborhood residents. So that's a little bit about me and what I'm into. You can also find out a little bit more about me also on our website as well. So let me go ahead and give you an overview of the department. All right, so as you see in front of you, this is our department mission statement. So this gives you a sense of kind of how our department is oriented and how we see ourselves as both contributing to criminal justice studies, but also as distinct from other departments who might have similar names. So as this mission shows, we are a multidisciplinary program. Faculty in our program are from a range of disciplines, such as myself. I have a bachelor's degree actually in women's studies. My graduate degrees are actually in cultural studies and in geography. But I have training also within law and society, and I'm particularly interested in the relationship between law and geography. So that's why the geography fits. You can also think about this with the rest of our faculty as well. We have criminologists, we have sociologists, we have people with PhDs in education. So we really come at the study of the criminal justice system from a variety of perspectives. In addition, we emphasize critical thinking about the criminal justice system, and we're particularly interested in not only how the criminal justice system operates, what it does on a daily basis and its practices, but also on how society both impacts those processes and how the processes and practices of the criminal justice system then conversely also impact society. So we're really interested in helping students kind of understand where our ideas about crime come from, and understanding about how both kind of politics and economics and larger social issues such as race, class, gender, sexuality, and age impact the system, and really looking at the ways in which, when we look at society and see social inequality, our students can begin to kind of parse out exactly how that inequality kind of came about, and the ways in which the criminal justice system both contributed to it or maybe also even ameliorated it, if that was the case. So in that sense, we're also interested in exploring about how our ideas and systems of crime, law, and justice, and not just the criminal justice system, but also the juvenile justice system, the immigration system, etc., shape broader issues of social justice, a key area within San Francisco State more broadly. And then finally, we're also interested in teaching our students kind of skills that they can take with them beyond this program. The skills that we emphasize in our mission are especially critical analysis and ethical reasonings, but we're also really interested in building students' capacity for written communication, oral communication, and advocacy. We feel like through this range of skills, we can really prepare students best to not only work within the system, but to be the leaders within the system. And in particular, also challenge the structures and assumptions that make up our criminal justice system and innovatively contribute to the creation and assessment of alternative solutions to problems associated with the identification and control of crime and delinquency. Pardon me while I have a little allergy moment. Okay. So that's our mission. And what we think is that once you, as part of that mission, you come to our campus, you learn from our instructors, when you graduate from our program, you should be able to meet these various learning outcomes. So as I said in our discussion of the mission, in terms of analyzing how systemic inequality both shapes and is shaped by crime, law, and justice systems, examining how people in groups impact and engage, contest, and remake legal institutions and ideas. As many of you may already know, the history of the criminal justice system is also the history of people and of political contestation. What we see in the criminal justice system is the result of people engaged in reform activities, engaged in the creation of public policy, etc. And so we're really interested in helping our students to understand how the criminal justice system is the result of that political engagement. We also are interested in teaching our students about the history and politics of criminological knowledge. So where did criminology as a discipline come from? What is the importance of the discipline of criminology? And how does the discipline of criminology impact the history and politics of crime, law, and justice more broadly? In doing all this, we also build a firm foundation for our students in their ability to both critique and analyze both claims, data, and knowledge about crime, law, and justice systems. As many of you probably know, lots of people have ideas about crime. Lots of people also have a lot of claims about crime. And so we really help students understand, like, when somebody says crime is increasing, what types of data might they be pulling on? Why? How can we understand that within the kind of larger context of the data around crime rates, et cetera? So what we really are hoping our students go away with is an ability to kind of look at claims and knowledge about crime and be able to place that within a broader social political context. And then finally, we prepare you through all of this to demonstrate it to us in the senior capstone course, where you have to actually design and implement a research project that demonstrates effective written communication, ethical reasoning, and critical analysis about a topic of your choice. Most students often choose something that's related to their career aspirations, and some students even choose to do this project based on an internship that they're currently involved in. And so that's an opportunity for you to take all the knowledge that you learned throughout all of our classes and really implement it in a capstone project that you can not only use to demonstrate all the learning that you've done, but you can also use to demonstrate to future employers kind of your capacity for future employment. All right, so that's kind of the broader context of our department. From this, we generally see kind of 3 different fields that students go into. The first field is kind of what's often traditionally associated with the criminal justice degree, and that's frontline work. So things like police officers, probation officers, correctional officers, kind of all the officers. In addition, we also, a lot of our students go into nonprofit work. So doing things like being a case manager, being a youth advocate. Some of this work is also done in the private sector. So you can often be a research analyst, not only for nonprofits, but for the private sector, or program managers or data specialists. In general, there's a whole range of organizations that actually support the criminal justice system, but actually aren't technically part of the state or part of the government. They're placed within civil society and outside the realm of the criminal justice system, yet they depend on their work and on their actions for the criminal justice system. So lots and lots of our students go into that field. And then finally, kind of the third camp of students go into the legal field. So these are students who are interested oftentimes in becoming a paralegal, becoming a court clerk, or maybe even going to law school. And then finally, amongst all three of these various camps, there's also kind of further education that many of our students do. Many students go to graduate school in a range of disciplines such as criminal justice, counseling, social work, public administration, and then some students also go on to law school. So there's lots and lots of opportunities open to you with this particular major. And there's lots of areas that you can go in. So really for you, the question is kind of, what do you want to do with your criminal justice degree? And then we work with the students to really cater your individual degree towards your career aspirations. And so this is, to give you a sense not only of our diverse approach, this is the diversity of our faculty. We have faculty from, across a range of interests from, Dr. Karina Gallo, interested in social welfare, to Dr. Barganier, who's interested in youth, race, and gangs, to Dr. Yarbrough, who's interested in gender and homelessness, to Dr. Snipes, who is particularly renowned in the field of police and police reform. He was instrumental in helping Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean to reform their police departments. And he's even served on a task force that resulted in the reduction of human trafficking of young people in the Philippines. So he's a quite influential scholar in these fields. And we have, Dr. Rodriguez, who studies schools and immigration, and he even studied the school to prison pipeline right here in Oakland, California, right near San Francisco. And then, Dr. Camacho, she studies prisons and jails. She's particularly interesting because she has studied a Pelican Bay prison, which is up in the very, very northern tip of California and is one of California's entirely supermax prisons. So she's particularly interested in these kind of very extreme modalities of punishment. Dr. De La Tierra is our most recent hire. He studies urban mass incarceration, and particularly in the field of New York City, and how mass incarceration has impacted people at the neighborhood level and the activities that they engage in the neighborhood. So that's some of our department of faculty. These are the more traditional scholars and researchers that you might see, but we have an entire array of faculty also who are also practitioners. So for instance, we have Jim Dudley, who's a former San Francisco Police Department deputy chief. And he teaches classes alongside Jason Bell, who's the head of Project Rebound for the California State University system. For those of you who don't know, Project Rebound is a program on campus. It started at San Francisco State, and it's a place where that really supports formerly incarcerated individuals kind of transitioning to a college campus. And so he's been instrumental in developing that program here. He's amazing because he employs a lot of our students to do internships at Project Rebound, and he's recently been tapped by the head of the CSU system to actually go ahead and build Project Rebounds throughout the California State University system. We have 3 different lawyers in addition to Dr. Snipes on our team. We have Professor Glumac and Professor Viola, both of who are criminal defense attorneys. We have Professor Tejada, who's been a youth attorney and a youth advocate. In addition, we have Professor McAleer, who is a renowned expert in youth and adult policy in the area. He's been working on criminal justice and juvenile justice policy in California since the 1980s and is one of the foremost experts in these fields. In fact, he's somebody who has been instrumental in shaping the direction and reformation of the California Youth Authority. So he's especially important to our departmental faculty. And then we also have Mary Juneau. This picture that you see here is actually a picture drawn by one of her students, because she is the person who has spearheaded our crime scene investigation curriculum, which I'll talk a little bit more about in a moment. All right, in addition to our departmental faculty, we're going to have some faculty videos available. We'll be sending out a link to those with the link to this video as well. So just make sure to check your email, and you can learn more about our faculty introducing themselves to you and finding out what you might be able to expect from their courses. So to give you a kind of a general broad overview of our courses, there are 11 courses that you actually do for the major. There's 3 requirements that are not listed here. The 3 requirements are CJ 300, cross-disciplinary approaches, what's called a GWAR course, which is either CJ 323, which is ethics, or CJ 330, which is research methods. If you're a transfer student, we highly recommend that you enroll in CJ 300 and one of the CJ GWAR courses your very, very first semester. If you're a first-time student, you will begin taking those courses in the first semester of your junior year. We ask that students complete 8 different electives. So as you see, we organize our electives into 4 different categories. Administration of justice is really about the category about kind of what goes on inside the justice system. So here you get some of the more traditional courses that you'll find across the system. So police and public policy, jails and prisons, community corrections, but also stuff like geographies of social control that really give you a taste of what urban policing is like. We also have a elective category section called crime and delinquency. Here you'll find courses that are more of a sociological approach. So they often aren't explicitly about a particular aspect of the system, such as police or corrections, but are more about things that both traverse a range of parts of the system, but also outside the system. So things like organized crime or extremism as crime. Our CJ 515 class, extremism, actually addresses some of the kind of more controversial issues related to crime, such as, related around human trafficking and what law enforcement approaches to that should be. But we also have stuff that is often seen as outside the system, such as school violence and discipline, or even encouraging students to kind of really think about violence through an urban context, or thinking about youth gangs in a community context as opposed to just a law enforcement one. In addition, we have a category called legal studies that is really about looking at criminal law in particular. So we have CJ 335, which really introduces students to legal writing and research and how to prepare things like legal case briefs. We also have our 501 and 502 series, criminal law and criminal procedure. These are upper division approaches to these issues. So if you've taken those classes at the community college, you can still take them while you're here. And then also we have international criminal law. And then finally, our final section is called Working with Diverse Communities. And this helps prepare students for kind of working with the diverse clientele that you're actually going to encounter within the criminal justice. In here, these are courses from a range of areas such as communication studies, race and resistance studies, Latino studies, history, philosophy, political science. And this will really help students to understand the kind of broader issues shaping why the community of criminal justice looks the way it does. And then finally, our one final class is the requirement CJ 680. That's the senior capstone class that you'll take your very last semester, and that will give you an opportunity to really apply everything that you've learned both in your required courses and in these elective courses. To find out more, there's a link at the bottom of the slide that takes you to the course descriptions, and that's where you can find out kind of what the kind of 1 or 2 sentence description of these courses are, and look into whether or not you would be interested in taking those courses. For transfer students, I did want to note that if you're transferring in and you've taken Intro to Administration of Justice or Concepts of Criminal Law, or both of those classes will transfer directly into the major. If you've done an ADT in Administration of Justice, if you've done an ADT in Sociology, an ADT in Law and Public Policy, or an ADT in Social Justice Studies, you will also get 6 units towards your degree. So what that means is that for anybody who either transfers those 2 courses or has done one of those 4 ADT degrees, that instead of doing 8 elective courses, you will just do 6 elective courses. In addition, some of the kind of common experiences that you can expect as you take our courses are things like field trips. Our students often visit San Quentin. They also often visit Santa Rita Jail And a number of them have also even gone to Alcatraz to learn about the history of that institution as well. We have guest speakers in many of our classes. We have sheriffs, public defenders, political activists. Those are just a few of the people that we have. There's an entire range. And then we not only bring them into our classes, but also we bring speakers to campus frequently for public events. In addition, many of our students do internships. We've had students intern at youth probation, within various police departments, throughout the court system, both at the public defender and the DA office, and at an entire range of nonprofits. Lots of our students do mentoring through nonprofits or case management, or even work on political campaigns. And then finally, there's a lot of extracurricular opportunities as well. We have a Criminal Justice Student Association that frequently brings people to campus, creates fundraisers, and just generally helps to facilitate student life in the department. In addition, we've held speed mentoring opportunities where we bring in people that are professionals in the field to talk to our students in kind of like a speed dating type style, so that students can learn from a bunch of different people who are professionals as opposed to maybe just one or two, as it might if we did a panel or a speaker. And in addition, we also frequently have faculty-student mixers where students can get to know faculty a bit more, to help facilitate both, speaking to us in and after class, and also, further opportunities such as undergraduate research. All right. In addition to those curricular opportunities, there's also 2 minors coming soon that I want to tell you about. Many of you may not know this, but San Francisco is one of the most innovative cities out there for its juvenile justice policies. When lots and lots of localities were moving towards a more punitive model in the 1990s, San Francisco began embracing a community-based approach to juvenile justice in the late 90s. Some of you may have heard that San Francisco is actually going to shut down its juvenile hall in 2021. So that's just another example of kind of an innovative community-based approach to reform. And so what we thought was, what an excellent opportunity to showcase kind of San Francisco's innovative approach, and also provide an opportunity for students to learn more about it, and then proliferate that to the localities when all of you graduate and go and work in these systems. So to support that minor, which will be coming in fall 2021, we have a range of courses available. These 3 are kind of the most important: juvenile justice, contemporary issues, and also intervention policies. But there's also others such as our youth gangs in a community context, our school violence class, our restorative justice class, which also have youth focuses as well. And then in addition to the minor in youth crime and justice, we also have a minor in forensic studies coming in fall 2021. Students for both of these minors can begin completing the courses, and then in fall 2021, you just have to declare the minor, and then you'll be accepted into the minor program. But our minor in forensic studies is really introducing students who are interested in crime scene investigation to the practices of crime scene investigation, the kind of best practices, how you secure a scene, the types of common activities that you're asked to do, but it also gives them an introduction into forensic science and the controversies in forensic criminal law. We have 3 courses that are either currently operating or will be supporting this minor, and that's CJ 401, our criminal profiling class, our CJ 410 crime scene investigation class, and then our CJ 420 introduction to forensic science class that will be coming soon. All right, and so that's it for my presentation. I just want to let you know that you can contact me or the department at any time. We are frequently on email. My email is up there, the departmental email is up there, and our website is there right now. So if you ever want to reach out, you have any questions on this presentation, you have any questions on coming to San Francisco State, or once you get at San Francisco State, just shoot me an email and I'll be more than happy to help you out and help you get you settled. All right, well, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for considering San Francisco State and the Department of Criminal Justice Studies. And I really hope we're able to see you in fall. Bye-bye.